Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to discuss Richard Steele's essay Recollections of Childhood. Steele is again an essayist who is from the age of Edison, and Steele also, in collaboration with Edison, had published in journals. Today, let me first of all discuss with you the essay. Steele's essay Recollections of Childhood contemplates the effects of death and the memory of death on a person's experience of life. How he experienced death. Specifically, he talks about his father's death and the effect of death on himself, his life, and his mother. Based on his personal experience of witnessing the demise of his own loved ones in his formative years, this essay analyzes various aspects of death. Steele published this essay in the periodical The Tatler, which was run by Joseph Edison and Steele himself. Through this insightful reflection on life, death, and human nature, Steele, very much like Edison, tries to highlight neoclassical ideals of balance, good sense, and moral integrity. He writes in a conversational yet refined style, using humor and changing his tone according to the situation. Here we'll find his tone very somber and at the same time full of pathos. The essay opens with an interesting observation on life. Many people, he says, enjoy life only by sharing every experience with others, but there are a few people who are happy in keeping things to themselves. They are not outwards, they are not extroverts. Such people protect their privacy to honor the memory of their loved ones who are no longer alive. In the manner of a real conversation, the narrator moves from observation to personal experience. One evening, the narrator was sitting alone to think of his dead companions. He still missed them, but his sorrow had become less intense with the passage of time. The message is that the time is the great healer. With time, the human mind goes away from the sorrow and becomes more somber and grave, which allows us to move on with life. Looking at the other side of the situation, the narrator points out that one must at times remember unhappy experiences like someone's death, especially when someone is very close to us, near and dear to us. Human mind loves to be excited with desire and to be impatient in the face of problems. Unpleasant memories take the mind into that sobriety of thought which poisons the heart. The mind becomes calm once it realizes that life is a mixture of joys and sorrows. To prepare oneself for future, one must sometimes think of the past. It is just like winding up an out of order clock by making its hand move across the digits. Here he has very beautifully tried to give us an illustration of the movement of life cycle by comparing it with the movement of the clock. The narrator proceeds to think about his own experiences with death. His first experience of sorrow was at the age of 5 when his father expired. The narrator could not exactly understand what was happening in his household because for such a young child, the idea or the thought of death was beyond comprehension. He didn't know what death exactly means. The narrator could not exactly understand everything, but by watching his mother, who had a dignity in her grief, who observed she was dignified in her grief, he developed a sympathetic nature towards death, and since that point of time, he began to experience compassion and pity and sorrow for the others who undergo the same experience. Commenting on the significance of childhood experiences, the narrator writes, "The mind in infancy is like the body in embryo. That is, the childhood impressions are indelible and they make an everlasting effect on the mind. If a birthmark develops on a baby in the mother's womb, it cannot be removed after the baby is born. Similarly, one's mind is strongly influenced by childhood memories and experiences, and those experiences are hard to remove or erase even after one grows up. The narrator presents a gentle touch of irony. He inherited the qualities of pity and gentleness and compassion from his mother, but these qualities do not prove to be practically beneficial in day-to-day world. He becomes too kind and sometimes too easily duped. An unmanly gentleness of mind which has since ensnared me into 10,000 calamities, and from where I can reap no advantage. Reap no advantage. I'll come to this expression later on and discuss, because it is a deviation. Generally we reap the harvest, but here he has transferred the meaning of reaping to advantage. However, he is no sorry to be gentle and kind. He is happy rather with his gentleness, because that allows him to relieve and feel the memories of past. People feel a great sense of loss on the untimely and unhappy deaths of young men and women. For many people, life is a burden. Yet, one feels sorry when death takes away the burden of life. For example, when a young soldier dies, one feels that the young man could have had a long, happy life had he not been a soldier. Young soldiers have a sacrifice to themselves for the political ambitions of the leaders. People have great respect for the sacrifices of soldiers, but when one thinks of the people who lose their near and loved ones, or those who die young, pity enters with an unmixed softness and possesses all our souls at once. At this point, the narrator recalls the untimely death of the first girl he ever loved. He wonders why death is so cruel to take away the young and the innocent, to rather snatch away. He can still remember his beloved vividly. Death always comes all of a sudden. In the same week, the narrator had seen his beloved dressed for a ballad and in the shroud. He still cannot accept her death at such a young age. He pours his love and sorrow in a rhetorical question. How ill did the habit of death becomes? Pretty trifler. The part of the essay uncovers the poignant expression of emotions and his anguish over the death of his loved ones. As a child, he experienced the death of his father, and as a young man, he again experienced the death of his beloved. However, the narrator goes back to his objective and balanced tone and concludes the essay with the mention of getting together with his close friends. The essay Recollections of Childhood presents a well-rounded analysis of various aspects of death. Steele blends together anecdotes, realistic observation, and intelligent reflection on death, which is very serious and somber a subject. In a conversational tone, the narrator communicates with the reader. Although the focus is on death, the tone is very sentimental. There are various examples of irony, gentle humor, and emotional moments. The diction is simple. The length and structure of the sentences vary according to the transforming or changing moods of the writer. The essay is a remarkable example of drawing universal insight from personal experience and look towards death with an acceptable tone or acceptable attitude. Thank you.